Hey everyone! In this video I'm going to be building a medieval castle in The Sims 1. I was a bit nervous to attempt building something like this because I thought it would be too complicated, but then I thought, let's just have a go anyway. So the lot I'm building on is 58 Ingleside Drive that used to be the Sims Central Park, I believe. It's one of the 3 largest lots in Old Town. Although I think the Pet Paradise lot and MacArthur Square lot are bigger and actually more expensive, but I didn't realize that until after I'd already bulldozed 58 Ingleside Drive, so I thought I'm just going to go with this lot. I think it should be big enough. Obviously a medieval castle in real life is like very, very, very big, at least I would think that it would be. And so I'm kind of having to scale that a little bit for The Sims because I'm just building in a suburban neighborhood, and you wouldn't randomly find a huge medieval castle in the middle of suburbia. So that's something I had to kind of bear in mind, but I think it's fine. So the first thing I wanted to do was raise up some of the lot to a slightly higher elevation to have the castle on a little bit of a hill. Not a massive, massive, massive hill, just enough of a hill so that it stands kind of slightly over the road, so that there's kind of a little bit of an approach up to the castle, because at the end of the day the lot is not that huge and the road and the mailbox is just there, not too far away. But I just wanted the castle to be on a little bit of a hill, and then I wanted to have a moat, because I don't know if that's like just a massive cliche, but whenever I think of a castle or an old medieval building or fortress that needed to be protected, I just feel like it would have a moat with a drawbridge or something like that. I don't think it would be really possible to build a drawbridge in The Sims 1, but I felt I could kind of imitate the idea. In raising up the terrain to have the castle on, I was able to lower the terrain where the water is going to be for the moat, and then raise a little section of terrain to have as a bridge. One thing I didn't think about was how whenever you manipulate the terrain in The Sims 1, it goes like a dirt color, like a browny orange dirt color. And the only way to get rid of that is either to play the game for a certain amount of sim days for the dirt to turn back to grass, or to use the grass tool and turn it back to grass yourself. But this is like very, very tedious. So that took a while, and I actually left some of the dirt terrain on the lot because I thought it made it look a bit more like maybe the terrain is a bit uneven and it's not like beautifully pristine grass, where the people who were constructing the castle just had to make do with the land as it was. And maybe there was some mud there, maybe there was some dirt. It wasn't just like a beautiful pristine piece of green land. Then as far as the floor plan goes, this was really a case of trial and error and figuring out what I wanted to do as I was going along. I did look at a few different reference pictures of castles and floor plans of castles, both I guess like British ones, but also some from other countries, just to kind of get some ideas. So I don't think this is too like true to a particular floor plan of an actual castle, but I just basically wanted to have like 4 towers at each corner of the building, with inside living quarters connecting these towers, and then a courtyard area in the center of the castle that wouldn't be covered. So this can be a little bit of an issue in The Sims 1, because as soon as you connect the walls of a house all the way around the outside, the game automatically builds a roof for you, and there's no way to delete that roof, except if you leave a gap in the wall. So technically speaking, to create the outside courtyard within the castle walls, I had to like leave a little gap in the wall right at the front where the front entrance is. I would have liked to have just closed that off and had doors, a series of doors there, and then been able to just delete the roof where I wanted it, but you can't do that in The Sims 1, so I just had to kind of work around that a little bit. So it seems most castles have this thing called a gatehouse right at the front, which would be there to protect the entranceway to the castle. And in my mind, the gatehouse is the 2 little rooms either side of the entryway with the diagonal wall pieces sticking out towards the front. And this is the only entrance into the castle. There's no back door, there's no other way to get in. So if your intentions are not good and you want to attack the castle, you'll have to come in that way. And therefore, you know, we know that you're coming, and we can theoretically pull up the drawbridge, so to speak. And then this leads into the main courtyard area. So these two small rooms right by the entryway, or the gatehouse as I'm calling it, one of them I turned into a downstairs toilet, and another one I turned into what I'm calling the armory. Now I believe the armory is where all the weapons are stored in a military building. So I ended up placing lots of swords in the armory. And yeah, it's just convenient for any attacking enemies. I mean, maybe like a burglar or something. There's a burglar. You can just go in there and grab your sword. Because there's no burglar alarm. So, you know, because we're living in the medieval times, there's no burglar alarm. Then going clockwise from the entryway, we have a series of different rooms downstairs. So the bottom left tower, we have a spiral staircase, which leads upstairs. We have what I'm calling kind of downstairs living quarters. I don't know if I would really call it a living room. I suppose it is a living room. It's going to have a couch and a place to sit and relax and play chess and contemplate life, I suppose. Sit and socialize. There's no TV or radio or anything like that. There's no modern entertainment to enjoy. But it's a family social room. A parlor, is that a word that's used? I don't know. Next to the downstairs living quarters, we have the kitchen. The kitchen, in my mind, is really only a place for the servants to work. It's not really for the heads of the house to come and cook their own meals or bake their own pies or anything like that. And so the staircase that leads up from the kitchen is going to lead to the servants' sleeping area, bedroom, bedchamber maybe. And then naturally next to the kitchen, we're going to have the dining area, the dining room. This is quite a large, splendorous room where the heads of the house are hosting their banquets and maybe entertaining guests. And also when they're just by themselves, they're going to sit in there and be waited on by the servants. That's the idea. And there's a staircase, a kind of marble curved staircase in the corner of the room that's going to lead up to the upstairs entertaining area and also the main bedchamber for the heads of the house. Then the room next to the dining room is the chapel. The chapel is just a quiet place for prayer and reflection. It's also a place for quiet study, kind of contemplating your existence, writing a manuscript, connecting to, some spiritual part of yourself. That's kind of what that part of the house is for. There's no staircase from this room to another part of the house. So this chapel is only accessible from the courtyard. It's not really connected to the rest of the rooms, room to room, so to speak, which I kind of wanted to have because I thought it was a bit more like realistic, that it's within the castle walls, but it's almost a separate building within the castle. That's what I had in mind. Then the floor plan upstairs, we've got 3 main bed chambers, sleeping areas. Like I said, one of them is for the servants of the house, the one that's just above the kitchen. And that one has its own ensuite bathroom. So that area of the house is just for the servants. And then one of the other bed chambers is for the heads of the house. So the king and queen, if you like. And that has its own private bathroom as well. That bedroom is connected to the main entertaining area, which is just above the dining room. Off one side of this main bedchamber is also a small room just on top of the armory that will have Bonehilda's closet in it. So this is kind of a little secret that the heads of the house have. They have a secret skeleton made. That's kind of the lore that I'm going for. Then the last bedchamber has private access via its own spiral staircase. And this is just above the downstairs living area. And this bedchamber would be for the daughter, maybe the son, but I think the daughter of the heads of the house. And once again, it has its own private bathroom. I feel like the sim who sleeps in this bedchamber is waiting for their parents to find them a suitable spouse from like a nearby kingdom or something. So no visitors allowed, no overnight guests or anything like that. That would be very inappropriate. But yeah, they're still living with their parents until a suitable match has been found. So regarding some of the furnishings that I decided to use in this castle, I made use of a lot of the objects and flooring and wall coverings that come with the Live and Large expansion pack, because one of the themes that's included in the Live and Large pack is this kind of medieval theme. So obviously I used a lot of stone wall coverings. I used a slightly different one for the outside of the castle versus the inside of the courtyard. That was, I think, because I didn't want it to look too uniform. I wanted the castle to look quite intentional in a way, quite like it has a cohesive look. But I also feel like maybe when the castle was built, they just had to make do with the materials that they had, and perhaps there was only a certain amount of the exact same stones to use. Then for the inside wall coverings, I used a lot of paneling, wood paneling with either stones or white plain plastered sort of walls. Some of the upstairs rooms I used wall coverings with wooden beams. I didn't want to use the same coverings throughout the entire house, so I have mixed it up quite a bit with some of the different rooms, but still hopefully maintaining a kind of cohesive theme. And then it was kind of a similar thing with the floor coverings. I was using a lot of sort of cobblestones in the courtyard and over the drawbridge leading up into the castle, and then some more of these kind of grey stone tiles throughout the rest of the house. But I also used some nice wooden flooring in the living area and in the main bedchamber. I like the idea that these architectural features are like maybe mostly original and they're somehow still here. They're still preserved in the castle after many, many years. And even if you took out all the furniture, you'd still, you could still decorate an old building with modern furniture, but the essence of the original building would still be there. I imagine the well I put in the courtyard would also be an original feature of the castle that has survived many centuries. Maybe it's had to be, restored or like protected or something. But yeah, I don't know, because I originally put a fountain there. I thought a fountain in a courtyard, that would be more maybe attractive, like visually attractive. But then I thought, no, it would be much more useful to be able to get water from within the castle walls. Because if you were being attacked by the enemy soldiers and you needed to still have water to use within the castle, it's much easier if you can just get that without having to leave. So I did decide to go for that rather than the fountain. Although actually, it's so weird because I did obviously design the bathrooms as if there is like running water in the house. So I've placed like actual bathtubs and like sinks in the bathrooms, and in a way that doesn't really make sense because I feel like that obviously didn't exist in the medieval era. I don't know how else to kind of simulate that in The Sims. I guess you could just like tell your Sims to go out to the forest and like urinate in the forest, and that's the only way you're going to be able to go to the toilet. But there's no way to like bathe in a river or like boil water over a fire and then pour that in a tub in order to have a bath that way. So I don't know, I guess I'm just having to like play make-believe a little bit with that. It actually makes me really want to play The Sims Medieval. I've actually never ever played The Sims Medieval, but apparently it's like really, really good. Some people say it's like their favorite Sims game, and I've never played it. And it's all fully like, the whole game is set in obviously a completely different time period. So I actually feel like I really want to have a go at that game at some point. I don't think it's that similar to The Sims in a way. Like, I think it's like set scenarios or campaigns that you have to play through. I don't think it's like The Sims where you can just make any family you want and then just play however you want. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm not sure. If you've played The Sims Medieval and you think it's fun, definitely let me know, because I would really like to try and play it at some point. I was reading recently, apparently, there's a Sims 4 kit or pack coming out soon that's based on castles or something medieval. I think it's a kit. It's not like a full expansion pack or anything. It's like just a small add-on. And I don't know, I kind of like the sound of that, but I feel like if it's going to be really narrow in scope, like if it's just a small add-on, it's not going to be very substantial maybe. Whereas like The Sims Medieval is like this full immersive experience. So it's a bit more like fleshed out maybe. But then I suppose you could just say it's the same in The Sims 1, like the medieval aesthetic objects that were added with the Live and Large expansion. It's like, it's not super fleshed out, or like there's no real gameplay that really goes along with it, but it's just really cool to build houses in like really different styles. A while ago, I remember playing in the Dragon Valley world that comes with The Sims 3. I think that's supposed to be medieval inspired as well. I feel like aside from Live and Large, some of the other packs do have some objects that I was kind of able to utilize just within the medieval theme. Like Make and Magic has quite a lot of rustic, oldie kind of looking items. I'm just thinking like the baker's oven that I put in the kitchen, and one of the 4-poster beds, which actually looks quite sumptuous and luxurious, but quite kind of old-fashioned looking, that I used in 2 of the bed chambers, I think. And I also put the gargoyle making bench out in the courtyard, and that comes with Make and Magic too. I didn't put any, strictly speaking, magic objects in the castle, like the charm maker or the wand charger, or... Although no, actually, no, that's not completely true. I did put the old-fashioned spell book in the dining room, because I thought that almost looked like some kind of like prayer book or something, where somebody would come in and like give maybe a formal speech at the beginning of a dinner, or I don't know, like say a prayer or something in like some kind of formal meeting or something. So anyway, yeah, that is my medieval castle in The Sims 1. Feel free to leave any thoughts about this build in the comments. Do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed, and I will see you in another video really soon. Bye!